Hello, dudes. Welcome back to Duties Daggers Movie Reviews Edition. Today we have a touching love story that I'm going to bring you through. If you watched my last review, movie review that is, um, you will know that that too was a love story of sorts. My last movie review was of the Twilight Saga, a 4-film series featuring vampires, werewolves, and at the core, a love story. So as I was thinking about what movie I should do for my next review, my second ever movie review, at first I thought maybe I would keep with the vampire theme. I thought about maybe watching the whole Underworld series, which is another great vampire movie, series of movies. And then I thought, well, what about another love story? Because Twilight, as I said, at its core is a love story. So I started to look through the streaming services, trying to find a love story, a romantic movie that I was interested in watching and that I had never seen before. I settled on The Notebook. Now, I have never seen The Notebook up until today. I literally just finished watching it 5 minutes ago. I had always heard that it was one of the best love stories in cinema history. Um, I had a girlfriend, one of my first girlfriends, tell me that I would cry if I watched The Notebook. We had been talking about movies that made us cry, and I had said that I had never cried in a movie. And she said, well, watch The Notebook. I bet you'll cry. And I never did watch it until just now. And while I have cried at during other movies in recent years over the span of my life, I did not expect to shed a tear during The Notebook just now, but I did. I absolutely did. So the movie opens. Well, first let me introduce the characters. The two main characters, the two lovers in this story, are Noah and Allie. They are played by Ryan Gosling and Rachel McAdams. Both very attractive people. Ryan Gosling, very hot guy. Rachel McAdams, very sexy woman. Um, so the movie opens at a retirement home, and we see two elderly people, a couple, man and woman, sitting outside. I think it was outside. And the man is reading a story to the woman. We pretty quickly realized that, at least I did. I don't know if it was that obvious to everybody, but I quickly realized that this is Noah reading their story to Allie in the future when they're old. So it starts out, Noah as an old man says something like, we met in whatever year at the carnival, and then the scene switches and we're suddenly transported back in time to that day, the first day that he met Allie. So they meet at the carnival. She is at first very kind of standoffish and playing hard to get. Pause for a second. I just want to show you guys the notes that I took here. Both sides. I really put in the work. So Allie is playing very hard to get, but Noah is very persistent. Um, Noah wants to go on a date with Allie. He keeps asking, just go on one date with me. Come on, just one date. And she says, no, 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 whatever, no, no, no. Finally, they're in a certain situation where they were at the same movie theater. They didn't come together, but they were there. And he walks her home. This is their first time really spending time together. Um, you can tell he is absolutely, love at first sight, smitten with her. Um, and he keeps saying, we're meant to be together. I don't think he says we're meant to be together. He's very persistent about it. He's kind of he's being a little wacky and weird, and he's like, hey, let's why don't we just lay down on the street, you know? And to her, that was kind of like a weird thing to do. Like, oh, why would we do that? And he said, well, we can do whatever we want to do. We're young. So she says, all right, whatever. Lay down on the street. They look over at each other and they realize, hey, this is kind of fun. We're having fun. We're doing whatever we want. Then they start dancing in the street. They say, hey, they're laughing. Hey, this is fun. This is a new person. He convinces her to go on that first date. So then you get kind of a montage. They basically they fall in love. It's an improbable romance. They have very different backgrounds. Noah is kind of a country boy, works a blue collar job. She comes from a wealthy family and is from the city. And I wrote here in stars, dialogue is excellent. And I want to touch on that really quick. The writing in this whole movie is done very well. The dialogue in particular between Noah and Allie is done so well, man. It's done so well. Just, it's written in a way that makes you think two real people are actually saying these things to each other. Not just your typical movie lines. These are actual things that two people would say to each other. That's the best way I can think of to explain it. So they're spending a lot of time together. They're inseparable. They're just crazy in love. They're super in love with each other. It shows a scene of them hanging out at his family's house, and they're all hanging out on the porch without their shirts on. They're stomping their bare feet on the porch playing banjo, right? And they're jumping in the lake and doing all kinds of crazy, fun, kind of hillbilly stuff. And then it flashes to when they're both at her family's house, and they're sitting outside in the shade with white linen suits and dresses on, and they're drinking cocktails and gossiping. Her parents don't like him. They want her to marry someone with money, basically. They think that he is not good for her. Basically, her parents are arguing about this when Noah overhears. And Allie comes back outside, and they kind of have an argument. Noah tells Allie that maybe they're not right for each other. He feels kind of hurt that her parents thought so little of him, and he's thinking, oh man, maybe this isn't going to work. And they just kind of have a little bit of a bicker, which kind of escalates into a larger fight. And Noah says, well, you're leaving for college anyways, so what are we going to do? Are we going to break up? And she says, well, you can come with me. And he's like, yeah, but they go back and forth. It's it's kind of a dumb little fight, but they both leave angry. Noah drives off. Allie goes back in the house. The next day, Allie comes downstairs to find that her and her family are moving back to a different house. Apparently, that where they were then was their summer house. They're moving away. They're going back to one of their other houses. They're very rich. And Allie's like, oh no, I need to find Noah and tell him what's going on. I need to make up with him. So she tries to find Noah. She can't find him. She goes to Noah's work, talks to his coworker, and says, "Hey, man, where is he? I need to tell him that I love him and that we're all good and that, I'll be back next summer or whatever." And the coworker, it was kind of a really dick move. He's like, "Noah said that he's over you. It's not going to work out. Just get over it, basically." And Allie's like, "What? That's weird." She's confused, but she says, "Well, just tell him that I love him, okay?" And then she leaves. She has to leave. Her family's in the car honking the horn. "All right, let's go. Come on, hurry up." So Allie leaves. Noah comes back. I don't think the coworker even tells him that. In fact, I know he doesn't. And then we see, it's kind of a voiceover. Allie's moved away. Noah is, he feels horrible. He still loves her. He starts writing her letters. He's not getting a response to any of them. He wrote her 365 letters, one letter a day for a year, with no reply, zero reply. And we see that Allie's mom is getting these letters, and she is throwing them away. What a bitch. So Noah's not getting a response. He thinks that she's over him. And Allie thinks that he's not writing, so we must really be over. After a year, Noah gives up with the letters, and he decides to try to move on with his life. So he joins the army. He goes to World War II. There's not really many scenes in the war. There's some explosions, and then whatever. It flashes back to Allie to see what she's doing during this time. She's in college. She's a volunteer as a nursing aide. And she, one day, is working with a patient. The patient asks her out, but he was real messed up. He had like a full body cast on. And she was like, "Okay, yeah, all right. Well, when you feel better, then we'll go on the date, right?" And then one day, a couple months later probably, he shows back up and he's fully healed. And he's like, "All right, how about that date? You said you would." And, he's handsome. She likes him. They fall in love. His name is Lon, Lon, just really weird name, Lon. At first I thought it was Lou, and then later in the movie I saw the subtitle that said Lon, Lon. I was like, what the? That's weird. It's a weird-ass name. So Lon is a wealthy man also, so, obviously her parents feel way more comfortable with Allie being with this kind of guy. She's not really the same around Lon, though. She's more, like, proper, and they're not doing these wacky fun stuff. They're kind of just, like, a real straightforward, kind of, like, wealthy couple. They love each other, but there's no romance, really. And Lon asks her to marry him, and she says yes. So, then we flash back to see what Noah's up to. Noah comes back from the war. He comes back home. And his dad greets him and says, "Hey, welcome back, son. I have a present for you. I sold my house, and we're going to buy you that wrecked old mansion that you've always wanted." Noah had told Allie when they were kids that he was going to buy this old dilapidated mansion one day, and he was going to fix it up, and him and Allie were going to live there happily ever after. And he had always wanted to do that. So when Noah got back from war, his dad was like, "Hey, check it out. We bought you that house. You and I, father and son, we're going to fix up that house for you. And we're both going to live there. It's going to be this awesome, nice house. It'll be a good project, help get your mind off of things." Let me let the dog out. So they start working on the house. It's a huge project, but they have years. A couple years have passed. One day, Noah is in town, and he sees Allie in a restaurant or something, a store. She must have been back in town for whatever reason. She doesn't see him. He looks in the window and sees her laughing, smiling with her husband-to-be for Lon. He sees them kissing, and obviously it breaks his heart. I'm sure he was initially really happy to see her, and then when he saw that she was with somebody, it just kind of crushed him all over again. Noah's dad dies, and he decides he pours all he has into finishing this house. He works tirelessly on the house. He finishes it. It looks beautiful. It's this big house, beautiful house. He decides to list it for sale. But for some reason, he just can't sell it. He gets all these offers. He gets great offers, but he says no every time because there's something inside of him that thinks, man, if I keep this house, maybe she will come back someday. He meets a girl named Martha. They start dating. You could tell that Noah isn't entirely happy. He's kind of just going through the motions with this new girl. She's really nice, but she's no Allie. It'll do, but it's not what he really wants. We switch over to see what Allie's doing, and she's trying on her wedding dress. It's getting close to her wedding day with Lon. She had really been shoving her feelings for Noah kind of down and kind of just forcing him down and really not trying to think about them at all, kind of sealing them away. And she happens to glance down at the local paper and sees a photo of Noah standing next to his newly completed house. There must have been a story on him in the paper about how he had finished renovating this beautiful house. This is her first time seeing his likeness, a photo of him in years, and she faints. Seeing that photo in the paper really brings back all these feelings that she had kind of pushed away and tried to forget for all these years. And she goes to Lon and says, hey, I don't paint anymore. I used to paint a lot. What's up with that? And he says, well, are you okay? What's wrong? She says, yeah, no, I'm okay. I think I just need to get away for a while and kind of clear my head. Obviously, Lon is worried because their wedding day is coming up. He's like, are you getting cold feet? What's going on? But he lets her go. She drives to the house. She drives to the house that Noah had told her that he would fix up one day, and finds Noah there. They see each other for the first time since that fight many years ago. It's kind of awkward at first. They start getting more and more comfortable. They have dinner. At the end of the night after dinner, she's about to leave, and he says, hey, when would you come back in the morning? I want to show you something. So she leaves. She comes back in the morning, and he says, all right, let's go. They get in this little boat. They're rowing. They row out to this little lake. Beautiful lake. There's a shit ton of swans or geese or something, some kind of ducks, white ducks, swimming around. It looks really beautiful. Then on their way back, it starts raining. It starts pouring rain. They get to the dock, and she turns around and says, why didn't you write me? She's pissed. She's like, why didn't you write me? He says, I did. And she was like, no, you didn't. And she's like, yeah, I did. And she realizes her mom must have been throwing them away. So they're like, oh my God. They start kissing. They go back to the house. They make love twice. And they're fully back in love at this point. The next day, Noah's girlfriend comes over, Martha, and she kind of knows what's up because she sees a car in the driveway. She comes up to the door and says, something like, she was always the one, wasn't she? And Noah's like, yeah. And then Allie comes to the door and says, why don't you come in and have tea? So they all three have tea for some reason. For some reason, Martha is really understanding of this. I think she always knew in the back of her head that Noah was not really into it, that he was kind of still stuck on Allie. I don't know if he had ever told Martha about Allie or not, but regardless, she knew that he wasn't fully there for her, and she accepts it, and she leaves. So Allie and Noah are falling back in love. Um, he buys her a bunch of paints and an easel and a bunch of painting stuff. She starts painting again. This is all within like 2 days. She starts painting again, and they're having a great time. And then Allie's mom starts coming down the driveway. She comes up and says, "Where have you been?" Well, actually, no. Sorry. She says, "We know what's up. Lon knows what's up. He knows that you're here with Noah." Um, and so Allie doesn't know what to do. Obviously, she has a choice: Lon and a safe, financially stable, loving relationship, or Noah. The one that she's loved this whole time. Um, so we find out that Allie's mom is actually was in a very similar situation when she was young. She starts feeling sympathy. She kind of breaks down. She's this very tough kind of outwardly shelled off woman, but she kind of breaks down a little bit and gives Allie a hug and gives her back all the letters. She actually hadn't thrown them away. She saved them. She piled them up. She gives them back to Allie. And she says, "I hope you make the right choice." So she kind of just gives it up to Allie. She says, "Whatever you do, I'm going to support you. I hope you make the right choice." She leaves. So Allie is kind of still hasn't decided. She goes to talk to Lou. Um, they talk. She's crying. She's like, "I'm so sorry. I got confused. I got cold feet, but you I really love. We're engaged. I love you." Um, and you think that that's her decision. But we flash back to Noah. He's sleeping in his bed. He's probably worried sick. Like, what is she gonna do? Is she going to go with Lon, or is she coming back? He hears a car in the driveway. He goes out, and she's there. She has her bags. She packed her bags. She's unloading the car. She chose Noah, her one true love, who she always loved. She chose him. Now, throughout the movie, to this point, we have been periodically flashing forward to the old folks' home, where Noah is reading Allie this story out of the book. And we can tell that Allie has, I don't know if it's dementia or Alzheimer's, whatever it is, it's affecting her memory, and she doesn't remember anything. She doesn't remember Noah. She doesn't remember her family, nothing. Um, so it's been flashing back and forth. They're reading the story, basically. So at this point in the movie, we flash forward to that old folks' home once again. Noah has finished reading her the book. So the story ended when, in the book, the story ended when Allie showed up to Noah's house with her briefcases, her suitcases. We're back to the old folks' home. He closes the book. He had finished reading the story. He looks up at Allie, and she remembers. There's a sparkle in her eye or whatever. She remembers him. She says, "Oh my gosh, where have I been?" And he says, I forget what he says, but he basically says, we have, I don't know how much time we have before you forget again, probably like 5 minutes. So they dance, they have this sweet moment together, and we kind of see that he's been reading her this story over and over again, because once he completes reading the book, finishes the story, she remembers him for a few minutes. Her hearing the story all the way through kind of helps her get her brain in order, and helps her remember Noah for a few minutes after he finishes the book each time. So he's been reading her this book over and over again, just to have that few minutes where she remembers him. So they have this sweet moment where she's remembering, and then it wears off. Her dementia, Alzheimer's, comes back. She freaks out. Who are you? Who are you? I don't know you. Get out of here. the nurses come in and sedate her. It's really sad. The next day, he visits her at night in the hospital when she's laying in her bed. He comes up to her and she remembers his name again. She's somehow remembered him for again. He says, "I'll never leave you, you know. We're going to read the story again. I'll see you next time you come back, you know, remember. I'll see you next time you remember me." And they fall asleep together. And that's the end of the movie. I did not expect to be so emotionally affected by this movie. It really got me. It really, really got me. Probably just because, like I said, this is so similar to my life. It's absolutely insane. It really, really is. And yeah, it's crazy. So, anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed. It's a good watch. You know, I recommend it. You have to be okay with shedding a few tears, though. You know, nothing wrong with that. Good stuff. Thanks for watching, dudes. See you in the next video.